I just finished watching a very exciting series on Netflix called The Iron Fist. It's based on a Marvel comic with the same name. Now, Danny Rand, he's the protagonist in the show. He comes back home to New York City after the world thought he had died with his family on a plane crash 15 years before. Turns out he wasn't dead. Nope, he was rescued by monks and spent 15 years in a monastery. But Danny, he was a special guy. He was trained in martial arts and was the only person alive who can call upon the power of the Iron Fist, and his fist would light up and he could do some serious damage. It was awesome. Now, his parents did actually die in a plane crash, and he was the rightful heir to his family's company. But unfortunately, the Meacham family was left to run the business. As Harold Meacham, he was the father. He was also co-founder and CEO with Danny's dad. Now, the Meacham family and the Rand family were actually really close, almost like family, until the horrible plane crash that ripped them apart through the death of Danny's parents. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, just in case you want to check it out because it was pretty good. But let's just say this. The Meacham family, they did some really wicked stuff to build Ward Enterprises, the company, to what it had become, including things like money laundering, drug dealing, and yes, even committing murder multiple times just to get to the top. In fact, when they realized that Danny was actually, still alive, man, they did some jacked up stuff. But fortunately, Danny was the Iron Fist, and the battles that happened as a result made for some action-packed, exciting TV watching. I loved it. But after watching it, I realized something. They did it again. I believe that for most of my life, I've been brainwashed, and that brainwashing was so subtle that I never really noticed it. Let me explain. There was a study done by the Media Research Center on businessmen on TV, and it revealed some very interesting things. They analyzed 17 weeks of primetime television over the course of 26 months, and here's what they found. Businessmen on TV commit more crimes than people in any other occupation. In fact, they commit more than 3 times as many crimes as career criminals. Wicked. Business. Now let me ask you this. As a society that spends a significant amount of time watching TV, do you think this is gonna have an effect on us? And worse, do you think this is unintentional? I mean, really? Let me ask you this. Why is it that these successful TV companies, big businesses themselves who make a buttload of money spending so much of their time and resources creating entertainment that keeps telling you that businessmen and businesswomen are wicked, that business is bad? Do you think that affects us? Now here's the thing. You start to believe what you hear and see over and over, and if the narrative that's constantly fed to us about business is one of being evil, I believe we're setting ourselves up for mediocrity. But what if we looked at business differently? What if business was a way for us to create value and put it out there for others to benefit? What if business was a way for us to serve others? What if, as a result of the business you build, you are able to better take care of your family? And even more so, what if you're able to employ others and enable them to take care of their families and offer their families something they wouldn't have been able to do without the job you blessed them with? What if business was a way to empower others to be the best they could be, to constantly challenge themselves, to get better at their craft, to seek opportunities for advancement, allowing them to have a positive impact on the world while expressing their creativity? What if business was inherently good and not evil? Well, I got some news for you. There's no what if. Everything I suggested is reality. It's the reality of those who choose to see and accept it. So the next time you watch a movie or the news and you hear a teacher talk about how corrupt business is, reject that reality. Fight against every single instance of business bashing and using terrible business examples to paint a false narrative. I want to live in a world where more and more people accept the reality that business is good and dedicates themselves to building businesses that actually provide value. That is how you change the world.